Beautiful ladies and handsome men, I am not sure what's true or false in this story. I take gossip, tea, rumor, and scandal from yesteryear, from online, from word of mouth, from books, and I ball it up and I tell you guys a story. Now, let's get to it.
What's up, Scandalites and Says So Squad? I hope you are all doing well. If you're not, you should be, honey, because we are back with another old Hollywood scandal. Today, we are going to be talking about the messy kind of stinking rumors, child, of SHALAMAR. And this is one of those episodes where I can just about truly say that it is the fans that are worse than the people in the group, child. The fans act like they ain't got no sense, just be saying anything. But let's get to it. Now, since SHALAMAR did not start in the vein of other groups where it was like a group of people kind of got together and was like, hey, let's start this group. SHALAMAR did not start like that. So I'm going to start off by giving you a little background about the creation of the group. So in the early to mid 1970s, the creator of Soul Train, Don Cornelius, and a record producer by the name of Dick Griffey came together to form a record label called Soul Train Records. Now, it's said that their main goal was to cash in on this new sound of disco that was doggone everywhere at the time. And so soon they had a few hits that were out in rotation. And then they were approached by a so-called small-time producer by the name of Simone Sasson. And Simone had approached them with a song called Uptown Festival by SHALAMAR. But SHALAMAR was not necessarily a group, it was just a name that Simone had put on the record. Allegedly, he was Middle Eastern and SHALAMAR came from the word shalom. Dick Griffey and Don Cornelius did like the song, and so they told Simone, yes, we will take the song. Even if the song was recorded before it was given to Dick Griffey and Don Cornelius, they still had it re-recorded with a guy named Gary Mumford, and the song ended up going gold. Well, now you have this song, Uptown Festival, that has climbed up the charts, recorded by this Gary guy, but put out under the name SHALAMAR. There is no SHALAMAR, there is no group. So Don Cornelius starts to scour the dance floor of Soul Train and he picks out two talented dancers, a girl named Jody Watley and a guy named Jeffrey Daniel. Per word on the streets, they didn't even see if Jody or Jeffrey could sing before they actually just stuck them beside Gary Mumford and just called them the group. So this was said to be the original SHALAMAR. Well, I guess even though Don Cornelius had chosen Jody Watley and Jeffrey Daniel, he did not have much faith in these two being actual singers in a group. And I say that because when he saw that Dick Griffey was serious about this SHALAMAR group thing and wanting them to record more music and all of that, Don Cornelius got cold feet. I think he was kind of iffy about this whole record label stuff from the beginning anyway. And so he asked Dick Griffey to buy him out of his contract. And so that is what happened. Dick Griffey buys Don Cornelius' share, Soul Train Records disappears, and Solar Records becomes a thing, which is owned completely by Dick Griffey. Well, baby, soon after this, God also put his 2 cents in it and told Gary Mumford that SHALAMAR ain't for you, sir. You supposed to be somewhere preaching in somebody's pulpit. And so Gary Mumford also left SHALAMAR. People say he went on to be a preacher or a minister or something. So this new group SHALAMAR was again looking for another singer. But it was all good because there was this guy who was said to be almost a veteran when it came to music by this time, and his name was Gerald Brown. Gerald Brown was wonderful for SHALAMAR. He had great looks, he had a great voice. And he also had no problem keeping up with the dance moves of the two dancers behind him. You know, he could really shake them down. But here's where the problem came in. Gerald wasn't no doggone high school student, or better yet, fresh out of high school. This was a grown behind man. He also felt like he was the lead singer because true enough, at that time, he was leading the songs in SHALAMAR. So when it came to paychecks and he found himself getting paid the same amount as some doggone kids in his mind, you know what I'm saying? These is kids. Gerald was like, no sir, somebody needs to give me some money or do something. And Dick Griffey said my favorite line, boy, what did you say to me? And Gerald Brown said, you heard me right. I said I need more doggone money. And until you pay me, I'm not going to be singing with your group. So give me a call when you're ready to pay me the money that I'm worth. Well, the folks say that Gerald Brown is still sitting at home with that doggone shiny burgundy suit on, child, waiting by the phone because ain't nobody called Gerald. And since nobody ever called Gerald, Shalamar was once again looking for another singer. And this time, Dick Griffey was said to be at a true loss on who he was about to get. But then Jeffrey Daniel came running to the scene talking about I got somebody. He'll be a great fit for the group. His name is Howard Hewitt. And apparently Jeffrey used to go dancing at some club, and this guy, Howard Hewitt, used to sing at this club with his own group, a group called Beverly Hills. Well, Dick Griffey brings this Howard Hewitt in for a talk and absolutely loves what he hears and sees, and hires Howard Hewitt on the spot. And so now the group becomes the Shalamar that you all know and love. And honey, I guess ain't nothing left to do but to get to the tea. Because the way the folks on the streets talk, the problem started almost as soon as the group became one, child. In fact, the first rumor says as soon as Howard Hewitt met Jody and Jeffrey, he already started doing too much. Said that Howard came up to Jody Watley within a week, baby, talking about some, what's your name and where your man is. And Jody was said not to have liked this because allegedly Howard Hewitt was either already married or he was in a really serious relationship. And the second reason it was alleged that Jody did not like Howard doing this to her is because you sitting up there talking about where her man at. Well, her man was right beside her, because rumor has it that Jody Watley was dating Jeffrey Daniel at this time. And by all accounts, Howard should have known by this time that Jody and Jeffrey was a couple. So the fact that he felt like he could just slide in on Jody, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I know you with Jeffrey, but baby, Howard here now. Howard here. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he was acting like that, but if he was, of course, that would make Jody feel like you ain't all that, my boy. And speaking of Jody Watley and Jeffrey Daniel dating, this leads us to our next doggone rumor. Because allegedly, when Jody and Jeffrey were dancing on Soul Train, even before Shalamar, they were already dating and their relationship was allegedly already a mess. Baby, these folks is out here saying that Jeffrey and Jody was acting like they was on doggone I'm gonna get you sucker. You know that scene where they were doing that fake Soul Train, but they were sitting up there kicking everybody in the face and stuff like that? Well, baby, gossip claims that Jeffrey and Jody were doing this to each other. They fought before they got into Shalamar and when they got into Shalamar. As a matter of fact, there is a rumor that says that while they were at rehearsal for Shalamar, Jeffrey and Jody were into it. And so one of their dance moves ended up involving a 1, 2, 3 kick. So the people say that they're rehearsing the dance moves, the 1, 2, 3 kick, and each time they're moving closer and closer together until eventually they are actually kicking each other. Honey said that they was tearing each other's shins up, and then said that after the song was over, they both took off running to the dressing room where they started fighting each other. And rumor has it that they would fight like this a lot, and Jeffrey would allegedly get the best of Jody a lot of times. But check me out. There's a lot of rumors out here on the streets that says that Jeffrey Daniel was allegedly busting Stephanie Mills upside her head too. But I also saw on a gossip blog where somebody said that Stephanie Mills was busting Jeffrey right back upside his head too. Listen, I don't know, but there are a lot of rumors about Jeffrey Daniels' violent past, whether he was beating up on somebody or the women were straight beating him down to the ground. But right now, let's get back to Shalamar as a whole. Although it seems like its young members were already up to a bunch of mess, musically, Shalamar was said not to be touched. Gossip claims that when they got together, the music that they made like it was magic. And also it's claimed that they had every other music group or music soloist out in the 1980s like really shaking in their boots. And it really seems like this group could have gone for the doggone gold. Like they really could have had some longevity. And I hate to keep coming down on Howard Hewitt like this. I swear to goodness I do. But I'm just going by the rumors on the streets. And gossip claims that Howard was doing a bit much. And from what the streets say, it's not all of his fault. Howard Hewitt was repeatedly told that his wonderful voice, his light skin, and his curly hair was pretty much all that Shalamar needed. Allegedly, he was told by Dick Griffey as well as some others that he was Shalamar. You know what I'm saying? That Jody Watley and Jeffrey Daniels were just like backup dancers. And it said from very early on, Howard Hewitt was being prepped to go solo, or definitely being prepped to be like the #1 lead of Shalamar. To be like Diana Ross and the Supremes. And Howard Hewitt possibly could have done this takeover with no problems if he would have acted better toward the other two members in the group. But he was a very young man and he was very handsome and very fly for the times, honey. So allegedly he let all of this go to his head. Baby said Howard started walking big and talking big like he was all that and a bag of chips. Was swole up and was quick to let Jeffrey and Jody know that they were nothing to the group, that he was the leader of this doggone group, and really he was the one that should have the most say so. Y'all know them types come walking in the room, everybody gather around. Dick Griffey told me that we gonna be doing it this way. Hold on, Jeff, cause Dick told me. One of those type of people. And Jody and Jeffrey sitting up on the side like, boy, don't nobody care what Dick told you. We telling you what we feel like. And this all seems petty, and really, honestly, it was. But they were young at the time, so they couldn't see this. But honestly, looking back on all of this, it seems like things were really petty at this time. But it became a lot. It became a huge problem because the more that Howard Hewitt felt like Shalamar was his group, he was Shalamar, the more he became defensive of things. The more he took on this attitude of, Shalamar gonna stand no matter what because, see, this is my group. And so, Jody, you and Jeffrey, y'all ain't gonna ruin this. And so if you didn't want to play by his rules, or better yet, Dick Griffey's rules, then Howard had no problem allegedly cursing you to shreds and telling you this is the way that me and Dick like it and this is the way it's gonna be. Screw whatever opinion you have or whatever direction you think the group is supposed to go in. And honey, the folks say that not only was he cursing folks to shreds, baby says sometimes Howard Hewitt would grab folks up by the collar. Now, I don't know if he was just straight kaplaya, busting Jody Watley and Jeffrey Daniel upside the head, but rumor has it that things definitely got physical and violent in that group. But if we tell all the gossip, allegedly all three of them have put the hands on each other at one point in time. So on top of Howard acting a fool and like he owned the group, on top of all three of them putting the hands on each other every once in a while, wasn't nobody making no money. Rumor has it all three of them, Howard Hewitt, Jody Watley, as well as Jeffrey Daniel, at least at one point in their career, came up and begged Dick Griffey for more money. And it wasn't just extra money to just splurge on stuff. No, these people wanted money where they can just buy their own home. There's a tale out here that says that these people couldn't even afford their own cars, and said that Dick Griffey took on this attitude of, shoo, y'all greasy head bastards was just singing and dancing for free over in that little club and on Soul Train. Now you want to just huff up your chest coming in here asking me for money. Y'all forgetting about studio time. Y'all forgetting about hotel fees. The same old, palms got to be greased. That same old speech that most record label people give the artists. I don't know if it was a fact that they were being underpaid, but I can say that it's almost for sure a fact that they felt they were being underpaid. And so, like I said, with all of this going on, it really was becoming a lot for all three group members. And things were about to get especially bad for Jody Watley. Per the rumors on the streets, it seems like the guys in the group sort of felt some sort of dominancy over Jody because she was the female. It got bad. It got to any time where she tried to voice her opinion if it did not line up with the males in the group. Like they would call her all sort of bees. Honey, especially Howard said that Howard used to straight up yell out, "You acting like a bee. What's wrong with you?" Well, honey, this is where that real Stankin rumor come in at. Because there is a rumor out here that's way worse. And this is the rumor that says that Howard Hewitt tried to do some assault type stuff to Jody Watley. And I'm not talking about the physical assault type stuff. I'm talking about the other assault type stuff. And yes, I know it's a scandalous thing, child. But I'm going to tell you why I call this rumor a Stankin rumor. Because honestly, I feel like this rumor is about 99.9% false. Because first of all, during my research effort, it seems like I was able to track the rumor back to a site called Hollywood Street Kings. But when you go and click on the link that used to house the rumor, the link is now defunct. Like it's broken now. And the second reason I think the rumor is false is because do you really think if Howard Hewitt tried to actually assault Jody Watley in that way, that he would still be doing any of the things that he's been doing? This man is out here still doing interviews mentioning Jody Watley. He's still doing Shalamar shows. A few years back, he was mentioning Jody Watley in some of his social media posts. Now, I done seen doggone bold before, but baby, that's bold. That is doggone bold. Surely this man ain't that doggone bold and crazy. Well, you know you done set up here and try to assault this woman, but you continuously bring up her name and do all this little stuff. Surely the man ain't no doggone fool. So again, I absolutely don't believe that rumor. I think that is a rumor that was started online. This is my opinion. I could be wrong. The assault could be true, but I really just did not find the stuff to back that up. But the fact that there was even a breeding ground for a rumor of that magnitude shows you just how bad things have become by the ending days of the original Shalamar group. And as I stated before, things were getting worse and worse for Jody Watley herself. Well, things certainly got worse when she ended up pregnant by the group's producer, Leon Silvers. And there is a whole messy backstory to that, honey, because see, Leon know he wrong, honey. But if you want to hear that backstory, then you need to go watch the Silvers video, because I'm not going to go back through it here. But yes, Jody did end up getting pregnant by Leon Silvers. Well, when she did get pregnant, Howard Hewitt as well as Jeff Daniels were said to be 38 hot. They felt like the baby was gonna mess up her dance skills. She was gonna bring down the group, like they wasn't gonna be able to tour anymore. And some of the messy rumors say that at least one of them tried to pressure her into getting rid of her baby. But thank goodness, Jody ended up sticking to her guns and welcoming a baby girl. Even after the birth of Jody's child, though, things in Shalamar continued to go downhill because of egos. Purely egos and control. It was bringing out the worst in everybody in the group, and some more than others. In fact, by late 1982, early 1983, gossip claims that Jeffrey Daniel was starting to get a bit of an ego him doggone self. Child, the folks say that Jeffrey's ego began to grow because in the year of 1982, when Jody was pregnant, she had to take some time off. And also, Howard Hewitt was allegedly cheating on the wife that he had at the time, and he also had to take some time off because I think things in his marital life was going crazy or something like that. So he also had to take some time off from the group. Well, Jeffrey Daniel was the only one with everything put together. So there came a time when the group needed to tour over in Asia, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Japan. Well, again, nobody was available. Jody with her baby, Howard with his cheating. Jeffrey Daniel was the one that Dick Griffey sent over to Asia to promote their older albums, as well as a new upcoming album called The Look. Well, Jeffrey Daniel gets over to Asia, and baby, he hits them doggone Asian folks with the best dance moves that they have ever seen in their doggone life. Baby, they say Jeffrey Daniel mushroom head was gigoloing and bigelowing, and baby said had the whole continent just about kissing his doggone booster. And the folks say that one of the main dance moves that the people got a kick out of was something called the backslide. And what? Child, this sure enough bring me to some scandalous mess. Because Michael, why? Honey, I didn't want to believe it. But the folks say that this doggone backslide was actually the moonwalk before the moonwalk existed. Because the folks say that Michael Jackson stole this backslide from Jeffrey Daniel and then put on his doggone shiny socks and went to Motown 25 talking about he made up the doggone moonwalk. And like I said, I didn't want to believe it because I loves me some Michael, but his doggone tail messy too, just like every doggone body else in this world. Anyway, I'm not finna let Michael Jackson hijack this doggone Shalamar tea, so y'all gonna have to just argue in the comments if that's what you want to do. But anyways, to get back to the actual Shalamar tea, Jeffrey Daniel went over to Asia doing all of this. He was wearing the name Shalamar, but he was the one to become the actual star. So soon the name Jeffrey Daniel itself became such a big deal that he was asked to star in a movie with Paul McCartney. So let's gather all of this information together to show you how the year 1983 looked for the group Shalamar. Howard Hewitt has been being told for some years now that he is the it boy of Shalamar. Jeffrey Daniel is now being told that he is the it boy over in Asia. And poor Jody Watley, only thing she had been told there lately was that she had been trying to ruin the group with the birth of her baby girl. So when you take all three of these together, you get a ticking time bomb that is about to blow. Well, let's talk about it, because in the year of 1983, the group released a song called Dead Giveaway. Well, Dead Giveaway was blowing the F up, honey. And so Dick Griffey started to scramble to try to get the group to record a music video. But honey, the folks say that Jeffrey Daniel told Dick Griffey and them that he wasn't interested. Said Jeffrey Daniel actually told Dick Griffey that he wanted to quit the group. Well, somebody with some sense was right there beside him and eventually got into his ear and was like, hey buddy, I don't know what you think this is, but you signed contracts. And so that's when Jeffrey Daniel ego came on down a little bit, and he basically told Dick Griffey, okay, cool, I'll shoot the video, but I'm not coming back over to the US to shoot the video. If y'all want me, y'all gonna have to come over here to Asia to where I'm at. And so Dick Griffey was like, you know what, cool. Everybody, let's go to Asia. Let's just get this video done. So Howard Hewett and Jody Watley make their way over to Asia. And even though I believe Jody Watley and Howard Hewett are in the same hotel building, they are separated. As a matter of fact, all three group members at this time have kind of grown apart. To move along with the story, the day of the video shoot arrived. Howard Hewett and Jody Watley both have limousines that come to pick them up. Howard Hewett goes outside, gets into his limousine, but when Jody comes to get into her limousine, she opens the door and it's people looking at her like, ma'am, what you doing? Close the door. And Jody is like, wait a minute, hold on. Who are y'all? Well, baby, before they can answer, allegedly Howard Hewett comes walking up to the scene telling some, those are my friends, that's who that is. They came from America with me, and now they want to go to the video shoot with me, and I told them they can have your limousine. Then Jody was like, okay, if they got my limousine, then surely another limousine is coming for me, right? Nope. I don't know what you're gonna do. I guess you better just catch a cab. Said Jody was like, I'm not catching no cab nowhere. This is my limo and they need to get out. What a background dancer need a limousine for anyway? You don't need no limousine. You ain't important to this doggone group. Catch a cab like I told you to do. And of course, I'm acting this out. I don't know exactly how the scene went down, but allegedly it was not too far from what I am describing. What I do know is that after Howard responded like this, Jody jumped up into his face and basically they were like nose to nose, like they were about to come to blows. Eventually, Jody, who has been tired of this treatment anyway, she goes back up to her hotel room and just shuts herself in. Sooner or later, word gets back to management as well as Dick Griffey that something has happened and Jody Watley is now basically wanting to quit the group. Dick Griffey then delegates to somebody up under him, hey, you need to figure this out. You need to get all of them on the video set. Whoever he delegates this information to goes to freaking work, and eventually that person gets Jody, Jeffrey, and Howard on the video set and they shoot the video. But after that video was shot, they still needed to pick up the pieces, and unfortunately they were not able to because Jeffrey Daniel, who had already wanted to quit anyway, was now on his way out of the group, and Jody Watley, now she wanted to quit and be out of the group. Well, rumor has it Jody Watley, Howard Hewett, and Dick Griffey end up meeting together and there was this huge blow up. And just to give you the details, word on the street is that Dick Griffey was trying to get Jody Watley to stay in the group. He was asking her, what is it that you want? Do you want more money? Do you want to record a solo album? Do you want a solo record deal? And Jody would not give. Everything that he was offering her, she was telling him, no, I don't want anything. I just want to be out of this group. I want to go and do my own thing. Well, what did I tell you guys earlier about Howard Hewett and how he would react when there was something threatening his group? So the folks say that he got fed up with Jody saying that she wanted to leave and all of this good stuff, and so he finally blew up and was like, you know what, screw you, you know what I'm saying? You can go on. You'll never be nothing without SHALAMAR. Jody Watley shot the deuces, she left the group. So now SHALAMAR has broken completely apart. Jeffrey Daniel is gone, Jody Watley is gone. The only person who survives is Howard Hewett. And as far as I know, that is the end of the T of SHALAMAR, the group, with Jody, Jeffrey, and Howard. But after that group was over, SHALAMAR did not die. Dick Griffey went and recruited like 2 more singers to replace Jody Watley and Jeffrey Daniel. But that is the end of the actual SHALAMAR T that I have. That is not the end of the T in this doggone video, because all 3 of these people were said to have rumors of their own, and the person who is said to have the most rumors is Mr. SHALAMAR himself, Howard Hewett. Rumors out here say that pretty boy Howard was that doggone thing, honey. Said the man can slide into a room and steal a man's woman from up under his doggone arm. Now, his first wife was rumored to be a lady named Rainey. It's alleged that she and Howard ended up divorcing or breaking up because he continuously cheated on her, but also because she had a problem with drugs. As a matter of fact, he and Rainey had 2 daughters together, and after he and Rainey divorced, Howard Hewitt was said to have gotten custody of these 2 girls because Rainey was just that bad on drugs. After his divorce from Rainey, Howard moved on to a second marriage, and this lady's name was Maury or Mary Molina. And the messy Hollywood streets say that their marriage came out of a super duper trifling situation. Now, gossip claims that on January the 30th, 1986, Maury and Howard, who were actually dating at the time, put on their doggone Bonnie and Clyde clothes and went to the Miami Mall parking lot. When they get parked in the parking lot, Maury gets out of the car swinging her doggone 80s curls everywhere and walks sexily over to another car with a man sitting in it. She leans down to the window, talks to the man, and when their conversation is done, allegedly there has been a transaction for the man in the car to buy a kilo of cocaine from Maury. Well, Maury sits up and starts twisting her booty, walking back over to Howard, but baby, before she could take 2 steps, whoop whoop, the whole scene starts looking like a Miami Vice episode, honey. Next thing you know, Maury leaned over the hood of the doggone cop car as well as Howard. And this is where it gets messier than this, because before you know it, they are both booked and charged with possession of cocaine. And honey, it gets even more scandalous because the Miami cops start to tell the public that Howard Hewitt is trying to get his girlfriend to take all of the charges for the drugs so he can get off scot-free. And I don't know if all of that is true or not, but what I can tell you is that while they were both waiting for their trial date, Maury and Howard ended up getting married. And after she got that doggone ring on her finger, she definitely did walk right up to the DA and tell him that all of those drugs were hers. You know, little old curly head Howard, he didn't know what was going on. So since Maury was now saying that all the drugs were hers, and since there was no way they could use her as a witness against Howard now, because see, now they were married, so you cannot use the spouse as a witness, you know. So now since they can no longer use her as a witness against Howard, all of the charges were dropped against Howard Hewitt. And that was a wonderful thing for him because per gossip, this man was looking at about 48 doggone years. So I don't know if the doggone Miami cops was telling the truth when they say that Howard had talked Maury into doing this, but I do know that this is what happened. Or maybe Howard didn't know anything about the drugs. That's another thing that y'all can tell me in the comments. After Maury, Howard ended up marrying an actress by the name of Nia Peoples, and I believe they had a son together. After Nia, gossip claims that he married a lady by the name of Angela Bloom. And throughout all of these marriages and relationships that Howard had, allegedly he cheated on all of these women. And when it came down to Angela, the folks say that Howard was doing so much cheating on her that she ended up crying to his eldest daughter about the situation. And baby said that the eldest daughter was a little bit sick of her crying, so she told the woman something that made her cry even more. The messy rumors on the street say that Angela was sitting down with Howard's eldest daughter, and she was just basically like, you know, your daddy, he keep cheating on me, you know, I don't know what to do about this. Baby said that Howard's daughter told Angela, yeah, you know, I know what you mean, because I also walked in on daddy kissing another woman, so you know, sorry he keeps doing you like that. Cha, said the girl wrote about it in a doggone blog. I'll put the link in the description. You can go click on the blog and read the whole post yourself. Now, mind you, this blog is from the year 2008, so all of this information is very old, but yet and still, rumor has it that his daughter did indeed write this blog with this information. Now, outside of several rumors from several young ladies who said that they had dealings with Howard Hewitt, sometimes after his shows, sometimes ladies that he's actually had a relationship with, and a lot of them say that he is kind of full of himself. Outside of those, there are other rumors of people accusing him of dabbling in drugs, but I don't know if he was like just strung out on drugs. I think he kind of dabbled just like everybody else, if I'm not mistaken. But even if he did, it seems like today everything in his life is on track. He's still a very handsome man. I do believe that sometimes he tours with a version of SHALAMAR, and it also seems like the relationship between his children as well as his children's mothers have been repaired a lot. It seems like things in his life are great now. I know that even even though he went on with Shalamar, eventually he also left the group Shalamar, and he went on to have a pretty successful solo career. But it was Miss Jody Watley who really took the cake with that. After that last final fight that she had with the whole Shalamar thing, Dick Griffey, Howard Hewitt, all of that good stuff, Jody Watley went on to pursue her solo career, and baby, she blew past every doggone body. Baby doll even got a Grammy when it came to her solo career. I know that plenty of times she's tried to move on from this whole Shalamar thing and this rift with her and Howard Hewitt, but unfortunately, it seems like people keep talking about it, including me at this point, child, just messy. But anyways, it seems like all of these unsungs and like it just keeps getting brought up, so I guess she and Howard are not really able to just move past it. I do know that she also has an online blog spot where she details like all of the lies that have ever been told about her when it comes to Shalamar. I will leave that link in the description as well. Outside of her daughter with Leon Silvers, I do think that she also ended up having a son. Oh yeah, there was one piece of drama, I believe in the 2000s, where she ended up applying for a trademark for the name Shalamar, and it was because allegedly she was sick of Howard Hewitt as well as Jeffrey Daniel like using her likeness to kind of promote their tour. But that's a whole nother mess and a whole nother video in itself, and that's something that once again you can just go to Jody Watley's blog spot and read about. Like, she has put all of the information there. As far as Jeffrey Daniel, like I told you before, in his younger years there were rumors that he could not keep his hands to himself. Fortunately, it does seem like if he did have a problem, I don't know if he even did, but if he did have a problem, it seems that he has changed. I have not seen any recent rumors where he's fought anybody. I do believe at this moment he now lives overseas, or if he doesn't, he used to live overseas for a while. And honey, have y'all heard that doggone man's voice? Now, he might have some doggone smooth behind dance moves, but his voice, and I ain't talking about his singing voice either, I'm talking about that man's speaking voice. Y'all heard the doggone man voice? Child, that man voice like doggone honey. Baby, like melted butter. You hear me? Child, listen, my husband ain't finna bust me upside the head, so I'm gonna stop talking about it. All I know is that if you get the chance, listen to this guy's speaking voice. He has a great voice. He needs to do voiceovers. Anyway, as we wrap things up, it seems like Howard Hewitt did indeed apologize to Jody Watley in the year 2022. I'm not sure exactly what he apologized for, probably for everything that he did in the past. So he did extend an apology to her. All three Shalamar group members seem to be doing their own things and living their best lives, and so more power to them. This is the end of the old Hollywood scandalous tale of Shalamar. Please leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments. I need you guys to comment on my videos. Also, get your little booty up and like this doggone video. If you have not subscribed, get your little booty up and subscribe to this doggone channel. Love you guys so much. I'll be out with another video soon. Bye.